Hey all, I'm Propagandist and welcome back to the Propagandist channel. It's been a while since we last did some RWBY content. In fact, the last actual RWBY related video I did was the update, wasn't it? The short update when the news came out that RT was actually going to be shutting down and there was all that uncertainty about RWBY's future. Well, basically I've decided though I'm going to be still, doing RWBY reaction content here on the channel because, just in sort of general RWBY news, it's been interesting sort of recently. There's nothing kind of concrete, I would say, that's been sort of released since that update video that I posted here on the channel. But there was a RT stream that actually I did tune into not too long ago. It was the RWBY 10 Years Later stream. And, they had sort of, general indications of where things are kind of going with RWBY at the moment. So apparently, conversations about the future ownership of RWBY are still ongoing. What they've said, apparently it's promising. There have been some good signs with it, and there have been some good signs in terms of they're looking to get the whole of the crew that were involved in the production of RWBY, ensuring that they are still able to work on it. So, some promising news on that front, possibly, by the sound of it. RT have stated that basically they do intend to actually have more of an update in the coming weeks. So, nothing really that I think we didn't kind of have an inkling of already, but hopefully it's a good sign and all that for all those out there who are, for all those of you out there who are RWBY fans and would love to see the series continue, like me for example. But that news aside, for this video basically I wanted to actually make a start on doing some reactions to the RWBY Volume 9 Beyond series. Thing is, the last sort of 4 weeks or so, the episodes of that have actually been coming out, and I just haven't had a chance to react to any of them. And I noticed though that the length of these episodes is actually quite short. Every single one that's come out so far, there's actually about 4 of them that have come out so far, they're all actually under 10 minutes. Some of them in fact are under 5 minutes. So I was thinking, should I do kind of individual episodes for each of them? Or should I actually wait until several have come out and then maybe just do like a big episode watching several of them all at once? So that and the combination of the fact that I just haven't had really time to do sort of reactions like this for Propagandist lately just sort of pushed me towards the idea really of maybe waiting for several of them to come out and then do a reaction in which I do more than one episode at a time. So like I say, we're going to be reacting to RWBY Volume 9 Beyond, the first 4 of these episodes in this one video. Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it. Just, RWBY content is always quite pleasurable to watch and all that. The other thing actually that I'm increasingly thinking about doing at some point, I have no ETA on when necessarily I'll do this, possibly a reaction to RWBY Ice Queendom, because I've seen that there are channels who've reacted to it here on YouTube, so I'm assuming the copyright around it is similarly kind of lenient to how the base RWBY series is, and I'm still obviously entertaining that idea of doing a retrospective non-blind let's watch of RWBY Volumes 1 to 4, just to round things off on there. I'm also thinking about maybe doing reactions to some RWBY fan content, because obviously there's the Dust Queen trailer, which I think I might do a reaction to in a separate video and record that today, at the same time I record this. So that's a possibility. On the subject of RWBY fan content, I would ask for the input of you lot watching this as well, you folks. Is there any sort of really good RWBY fan content out there in terms of things like short videos, animations, things like that, that might be worth me sort of watching and doing reactions to? If you have any ideas on that front, please do let me know. And, other than that, over on General Red Strategist, I still need to actually do some of the RWBY games at some point. So Grim Eclipse, Arrowfell. There's also that RWBY JPDE visual novel, which I've had in mind for some time about playing. So, still need to get around to those, but they will come at some point on that channel, whether as main series or as bonus content, something like that. So, yeah. RWBY still has plenty of content for me to be mining at the moment. Right, without further ado, let's just actually get to Volume 9 Beyond then, folks. Okay, so episode 1 is called Junior Detective, so I'm assuming Sun and Neptune focus for this one. Right, 3, 2, 1, go. This one's about just under 4 minutes long, this one.
It was storming the night the case file came in. I've never had a file turn my stomach quite like this one did. I remember it like it was yesterday.
It was yesterday.
Dude, come on.
I'm sorry. Accuracy is important.
Team RWBY is missing. And John too, I guess.
Thankfully,
He's
no
an
case is
afterthought.
too difficult for the junior detectives.
So the animation style is obviously different. I guess this is kind of
Excuse me.
the post-Volume 9 version of
Was obvious.
RWBY Chibi comedy series, except not Chibi.
What do you remember? Tell us everything.
I'm not sure what can be done, but I'm happy to cooperate and aid your investigation to the fullest extent that I am able to.
But like always, pulling information is like pulling teeth.
Did you not hear what I said?
This story checks out. Next!
I already told you. I wasn't even there. Plus, I don't talk to cops.
I like the depiction of Vacuo in the background. I assume that's meant to be Vacuo, isn't it?
On to the next perp.
I told you to stop calling me a perp. Do you even know what perpetrator means?
Of course I do. And for all we know, you are the purple traitor.
Guys, not even Ozpin and Oscar know what happened to them. We were told not to fall, and they fell. That's it.
We were lost. No leads.
Leadless.
We engaged in spirited debate, squeezing our genius brains of every last drop of detective juice.
I'm so dry.
We almost gave up. Until...
Wait, what was it say?
Nice.
Grape? Some people like
What
grapes.
is it, fellow detective?
Headmasters! Professor Ozpin!
Oscar.
And Professor Theodore!
Now, sure, you could say that it makes sense that the two are meeting up a lot. They are in charge after all. But something just didn't feel right.
We kept taking lefts. Who would do such a thing?
Using our ultimate stealth and disguise skills, we were able to follow Oscar
Oscar.
and eavesdrop in one of their meetings. We were shocked, startled even.
Wasn't just Oscar and Theodore meeting up.
Oh, so that's Theodore, is it?
And Raven. Two maidens.
Even more interesting, a mysterious girl was there too.
Oh.
Could she be the summer
I
maiden?
already told you, there's no way. Besides, there's no more room on our suspects list. No more new characters. I mean perps.
But then, before we could really hear anything juicy, well, you showed up.
Yeah, then we told you the whole story, and now you're all caught up. And why do you look so angry? Oh no, please spare us!
So they got that chibi comedy vibe,
Well,
or RWBY
I
chibi
guess
comedy
the location
vibe.
of Team RWBY and John is still a mystery.
I just hope they know that we haven't given up. And I hope they haven't given up either.
Take it that's yeah, the entirety there of that particular video is only like 20 seconds more of the video. It's probably just credits at the end of it by the looks of it. Interesting though. So I get obviously that that's supposed to be a bit of a comedy, little sort of comedy sketch kind of thing. But what's kind of interesting about that is that obviously, as far as I'm aware, the whole idea of RWBY Volume 9 Beyond is supposed to be that we're following some of the characters during the time that Team RWBY and John are obviously in the Ever After. So that's interesting because it gives us a bit of a first look at what Vacuo is supposed to look like. And I think that's actually the first time I've actually seen what Theodore, the headmaster of Shade Academy, looks like. I don't think have we ever actually seen Theodore in any other material anywhere else in RWBY? I don't know if we have. Not to the best of my knowledge, anyway. But you know, that was quite interesting as well. But also, okay, so basically Winter is in Vacuo, Raven is in Vacuo, and there's an unidentified third person who I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that unidentified third person, the first person I thought of is that Summer Rose, potentially? So is the idea that come Volume 10, could Summer Rose potentially be coming back into it? Assuming, of course, that Volume 10 does go ahead. Which it may well do, who knows. I guess we'll find out more information in the coming weeks and all that. Okay, I mean, that was entertaining enough. As you can see, obviously the art style is what it is. It's not full animation. It's more sort of what would be the word? Kind of like an animatic, I guess. I know there was also technically an animatic that got released, a sort of black and white one, which I haven't actually reacted to. I have actually seen it though, so I'm not going to be doing a reaction to that. But it's the one which basically depicts Team RWBY when they come out into Vacuo and they encounter everyone again, basically. So yeah, I have technically already seen it, in case anyone's wondering. Right, can I just click straight into RWBY episode 2, A Night's something or other this one was. I think we'll literally just go straight one by one, won't we?
This is the very first entry in what I guess is about to become my journal. Just feels like something you do when you want to keep your daily life in perspective. And now that I've been young and old and young again,
This is John
it's not
after he
always
returns.
easy to keep things in perspective these days.
I see.
I know I lost it for a little bit there. But being back with my team helps, even though things aren't the same.
Freaking Ren doing Naruto
Anymore,
running.
one thing they're working
Sort
through,
of.
And I'm not the same boy they knew. I'm the rusted knight. Nora loves reminding people of that, by the way. They usually just look at her like it's some kind of inside joke they're not a part of. These days, I'd rather forget. I guess I was the rusted knight, but
Yes, for the number of years you were technically in the Ever After for.
me? Who is Jean now? Lately, I've been spending more time with the person I thought might relate most.
And how is that journal going?
I haven't quite started yet. Soon, though.
It'll help.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't feel like anything will. Don't get me wrong, I'm not unhappy to be back. I just feel out of place. Like I've left the world by and it's done the same.
Believe me, I know what that's like. I've been the subject of a couple of fairy tales myself.
You mean Ozpin has, right?
Of course. If you're not sure where to start, I do have a suggestion, if you'd like.
Sure.
Think about the good times. What little they might have been that you spent in the ever after.
Just focus on the positive.
No, not like that. It might be able to help you remember what it was all for. And rewrite the story in your own way.
The good times. I remember Alex and Lewis. Those early days of getting to know each other were magical. It's like I was living someone else's life. For me, the secret that I knew a little of what was happening to all of us was exciting. Lewis was a puzzle, since he wasn't part of the story I knew, but he figured out really quickly that I knew more than I was letting on. We compared notes on Remnant. Oh, they couldn't believe I was from the faraway future. I couldn't believe they were from Vacuo. Back before the war.
It does raise an interesting question, though.
I
I'll
remember
come to
the
it in a
first time
second.
we tried to shop at the Garden Acre. They didn't have days of the week, so they invented one. Splatter Day, just for us humans. You know, for a while, they ended up having Splatter Day every day because they didn't understand. But every Splatter Day, there was a farmer's market. Only, instead of buying produce, you bought farmers who would grow it for you for a little bit. We would roast things by the fire every night. But it was those campfires I remember most. Lewis writing everything down in his journal. The story he'd one day tell to help lead my friends to me. Oh, and in those early days, every night around the campfire, when I tell them my story, my adventures, oh, they always seemed so amazed. Which was weird because it was just my life. The mistakes I'd made. And the times I'd gotten lucky. It was like having my team back. People around you who make you feel more than you are. Or maybe they see you in a way you can't see yourself. It's the same kind of warmth that a good fire brings. And laughter.
Ooh.
It's a good meal.
It's always painful when you see Kira.
those campfires
a
all
bit.
across Vacuo at night, and I wonder what people are sharing, what they're building, the hope they're stoking, and what they'll be saying when this is all over. I guess maybe there's something to this after all.
Perspective.
Yeah. Do you think we're gonna make it?
That's a big question.
Around that campfire, Did it matter?
No. No, I guess it didn't.
Is that, yeah, it looks like that's basically the end of it. Interesting. So, okay, so it's not just following then the things that characters are doing whilst Team RWBY and company are actually in the Ever After, it's also going to be to an extent events after that. Interesting. That is interesting though to have a bit of characterization for Jean after, you know, he gets back, because obviously he went through the freaking ringer there. But the question actually I was going to ask is, because obviously you mentioned there, you know, in reference to the fact that of course he was in the Ever After for quite a number of years, and obviously talking to Lewis and Alex, he mentions, you know, well, I'm from sort of kind of your, well, the far future of Remnant. I can never remember how many years exactly was it that Jean was in the Ever After for. He must have been at least like a decade or something, I would imagine. Yeah, I can't remember the exact number of years. Was it ever actually formally stated? I don't think it was, but I think the assumption was probably about a decade, possibly more than that. I may be completely wrong about that though. But no, that is actually really interesting to get some characterization for Jean, because I think it'll be interesting, you know, if we do get a volume 10, it'll be interesting to see, you know, how does kind of Jean's character actually evolve, you know, going into that. Because obviously, although he's been sort of restored back to his youthful form, he still obviously has all that memory from all those years he spent in the Ever After. So of course, like you said at the start of this kind of sketch, he's a very different person now. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, whoever gets RWBY, and if they, you know, if they continue the story as it is and they do a volume 10, how they're going to handle that. Because I think that'll be quite challenging. It'll be interesting though, because obviously I think there's a potential pitfall there if they just sort of make Jean the same as he's ever been, because obviously then it'll feel like there's no real sort of development actually happened. But no, they need to obviously, you know, reflect all of his experiences that he's had in the Ever After. So it'll be interesting to see. Right, I noticed the hyperlink to the next one actually is for the previous one. So I'm just going to jump cut here, and we'll continue on with the third one in a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so the third one is The Adventures of Somewhat. So Little's reincarnated form that we saw in the final episode of Volume 9. Okay, 3, 2, 1, start. This one's just over
Deep in the
6 minutes.
branches of the great tree stood a somewhat brave creature,
Hey,
ready to start a new journey with their trusty steed,
there they are.
Juniper.
I can do this. I can do this. We can do this. Together, we can do anything.
They were right to be somewhat nervous. Having a new purpose can be tough, and this was an important one at that.
Let's go!
You see, things had been a bit different in the Ever After lately. Tasked by the blacksmith, they were given a somewhat ambiguous quest. Find what feels wrong. When asked where to look, the blacksmith simply replied, "Do what your heart desires. Do what feels right." Still somewhat unsure of where to go, they first followed their hearts to the newly rebuilt acre of the genial gems.
Wow. Everything looks so shiny. Excuse me. Excuse me. Have you seen anything out of the ordinary?
They were somewhat sad to be ignored, but also marveled at the gems' concentration. You see, the gems once had a hero that helped them day in and day out. But because of that,
Yes.
they thought not of themselves.
Aw.
Oh, we do not mean to be rude. We're just busy, said a nearby gem. The more that we help ourselves now, the more we can help others in the future. I, however, am currently resting, an important part of physical activity, so I can assist you. It makes me happy to make you happy, the gem exclaimed. It makes me less happy to tell you that we have seen no ordinary or out of ordinary things of late, just ourselves.
Thank you.
Next, their heart desired a sweeter smell.
I wonder if we'll ever see more of the Ever After
That happened here?
in future
I
RWBY.
hope everyone
Potentially.
is okay.
Or will it just be a Volume 9
Yes,
thing?
they reply. But We've all come together. And because of that, we're stronger. Finding nothing wrong, they were somewhat discouraged. Their heart led them nowhere. How may I assist you? The herbalist asked.
Oh, we're not yet ready to return to the tree. We still have our purpose.
I see. May I ask a small favor? There is an afterin in need. Please, do what feels right.
Oh, what, the prince?
This place feels wrong.
The crazy little prince?
Guided not by their heart, but an afterin in need, they entered the empty Crimson Keep. Typically ruled over by the loyal guards of the Red Prince, no such army appeared to be present. After searching and searching, they finally stumbled upon a lone occupant.
Oh, there he is.
The Red Prince himself.
Where is everyone?
Without looking up, the prince muttered, "I sent them away. How could one expect them to be ruled by someone like me?"
Who is someone like you?
The prince's trance on the game piece finally broke, and the two locked eyes for the first time. You seem familiar.
As do you. I wonder if we used to be friends.
The prince smiled. I wonder. Please, sit. Let's play a game.
Yes, I thought she was going to say
I'm
that.
so sorry, but I have a job.
As do I, the prince interrupted. And if you beat me, I'll happily help you with yours.
Yeah, but you don't like being beaten, though. That's the whole
No.
thing.
What is your purpose?
To win this game.
That doesn't seem very fair. What if my purpose was to win too?
Such is the way of our life.
What if it doesn't have to be? I'm still new here, but I've met loads of afterins and people that have grown and found new things to do, even without going to the tree. Who knows? Maybe you could teach others to win. Speaking of, I won! I think. I'm sorry.
Go get a new purpose, Prince
After a
Man.
long silence, the Red Prince finally spoke. Thank you for playing with me, little one. I've learned a lot.
That felt right.
It seemed that more than a somewhat big impression had been left on the prince. And there was one less wrong thing in the ever after.
Didn't realise we're getting
Their
Red
purpose
Prince
complete,
character
They
development.
desired nothing more than a rest after their grand adventure. Unfortunately, life is seldom as straightforward. That's when they saw someone that they were somewhat not prepared to see.
Who might that be? Neo?
You're back!
What? Oh, no, you can't leave it on a cliffhanger like that. Oh. So there was me asking a question. Could we potentially get more Ever After in a future RWBY volume? Potentially. And I'm going to tentatively say maybe? So who would that be who came back through? See, you know, he somewhat says you're back. My first thought would be Neo, because obviously Neo, at the end of Volume 9, opted to basically just be taken by the tree, and presumably to be reborn with a new purpose or something, so it could be her. Because the thing is, I've seen people sort of speculating that there's entirely a possibility that Neo is not necessarily out of the season now. Out of the franchise. That she could very well return as a sort of new character, and a character who potentially would be on the good side. I don't know. That's what people have speculated. So it's a possibility. Either that, or maybe, I don't know, maybe Team RWBY have found their way back to the Ever After, but I don't see why they would do that. So it's got to be Neo, right? That's got to be who it's referring to. So that's interesting. So clearly, you know, as we saw in that first episode of this Volume 9 Beyond, there's stuff in this that's clearly being set up for a potential future RWBY volume. So that might come into play as well here. This person that somewhat came across at the end of the episode there. Let's make a mental note of that, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? All right, we can go straight to the final one. Boba, it's called. It looks like RWBY and Yang. We're going to get some RWBY and Yang in this one. So I'm glad that Team RWBY is going to be featuring in this sort of mini-series. All right, this is less than 5 minutes, this one. To shorten. Again, they're all short, what am I saying?
So, what exactly is this big surprise all about?
I wouldn't call it big, exactly.
What? You've been hyping it up since
It's actually kind of small.
So, a small surprise.
It's more exciting than a surprise.
So, I should be excited.
But not too excited? I don't know. Maybe it's dumb.
Are we just going for boba tea?
Setting expectations to moderate for a surprise that may or may not be cool.
Perfect.
Why are you being weird?
I'm not weird. You're the weird one. It's just been a while since we got to do the sisterly thing.
You're right. And if you make this no fun, I probably just won't ever want to be sisters again. See how dumb that sounds? Ow!
Excuse me. Are you RWBY?
Yep.
Who?
That's me. I'm a RWBY.
Who?
You're the girl who sent the message. The one who brought the world
Oh,
together.
Oh my goodness.
there you go.
Can I take a picture?
It's just people. They know who she is.
Oh, happily. Okay, where do you want to take it? Am I taking the photo? I am never getting used to that.
Still wanting those normal knees, huh? Personally, I think it's about time everybody knew how cool my sister is.
I never imagined all this. Here in Vacuo, they need more than a mascot.
It's not too much?
Oh my gosh. Seriously, Yang? You brought me all the flavors, the milk teas, the smoothies, the boba.
So...
Stick some actual pictures in there.
the right amount of exciting?
Are you kidding? Why did you even downplay this? That brought back so many memories.
Apparently they closed up shop and patch and relocated here with the rest of the refugees from Vale.
Remember how we used to come here with Dad after school?
It used to be a once-a-month treat, but by the time we were done at Signal, it was almost twice a week. Do you wonder why he's not here? With everybody else? I know Crow said he's on assignment, but what's more important than here?
Maybe we don't have the full picture.
I don't know. Some things you just need to be there for. RWBY,
Interesting.
about what happened in the ever after.
Which part?
The
The bit about your depression,
An
maybe?
explanation.
That
I
bit?
think I get it. It doesn't even matter if I do, completely.
Yang,
I understand my part in you feeling like you couldn't talk to anybody about what you were going through. And that it's hard to even know what you're going through when you're in the middle of it. I just need you to know you're not alone. You can't be alone. Not with the world the way that it is. And not with what we and our team have all been through. We're not going back to the version of Team RWBY where you put everything on your shoulders. Where we put everything on your shoulders. From now on, we do it together.
as it turns out, the hardest thing about being a leader is asking for help. I thought I wasn't allowed. Thank you, Yang.
Let's see, we're acknowledging what went on.
Though.
Oh,
I still don't know how to do it.
nobody does.
Well, maybe we need a code word. So we know when we're feeling overwhelmed but don't know how to ask.
How about boba?
Yeah. Boba.
Interesting.
By the way,
Oh.
you promised we would go shopping like weeks ago. When's that happening?
That's your priority right now?
Oh. Okay, that was a good one. Alright, well, look out for the word boba then. In volume 10 or whenever. Use of a code word to say, I need help and all that. Okay, I was kind of curious, yeah. in this one, would they actually sort of acknowledge everything that RWBY went through in Volume 9? Because obviously that was their whole depression arc, kind of. And, you know, at the start of this, she seemed very kind of back to her bubbly self. So it's kind of like, okay, are we going to talk about everything that happened there? And yes, they did. They started going to it, which I'm glad they did. They didn't just sort of treat it as though it kind of never happened. Yeah, that was really interesting, though. I mean, there's obviously a sort of interesting topic in there about sort of being a leader and all that, and sometimes feeling like you can't ask for help. But, yeah, I think, you know, if you've ever been in sort of a position of responsibility in your life, you know, whether you're a supervisor, a teacher, whatever you are, there's always been that moment, I would say. Everyone's probably had it, where you feel like, you know, you're in a position of, you know, some kind of authority, and you feel like you have to deliver. And when you're in that position, it can be very hard sometimes to sort of ask for help, because you feel like, shit, what am I doing in this position? I feel like I'm in way of my head, something like that. And in that situation, you know, you do need to ask for help, but it can be a bit scary to do so, because then you think, am I letting everyone down, revealing that I'm not a very good leader? But the answer is, in life, no. You're not revealing yourself to be a bad leader at all. In fact, some of the best leaders are the ones who do consult with the people they're looking out for, and they do get their opinions, and they do ask for advice, and they learn new things. Because the thing is, like, everyone's got to learn somewhere. So, yeah. A little life lesson for you all, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Alright, what I'll do here is I'll jump cut again, and we'll have some concluding thoughts in a second, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, so that was the first 4 episodes of RWBY Volume 9 Beyond, or just RWBY Beyond, technically, I think it's called. So it's good to actually catch up on those, good to see a little bit of, you know, bit of characterisation, characters are interacting with each other. It's good to see that Team RWBY are going to be featuring in this one. It's not just going to be entirely other characters. But like I say, I think one of the key things to note here is that it definitely feels like this is setting up a few things for a future RWBY volume. So stuff to do in the Ever After, potentially with Neo. Stuff to do potentially with Summer Rose. I mean, the thing is, I think it's safe to say that Summer Rose surely has got to be a bigger thing in future RWBY volumes, because, you know, we're getting towards the final act, and, you know, we still haven't really seen much of her, so she will come into play. But it's good, well, I'm assuming it was Summer Rose at the end of the first episode there, ladies and gents. I don't see who else it could be. It just feels like it's her, to me. That just seems to be my gut instinct. That's what it's screaming at me. So I'm sure I'm not the only person who thinks that. But yeah, it was a good little series of animatics there, just to watch and react to. Now, I don't actually know how many episodes in total there are actually going to be for RWBY Volume 9, RWBY Beyond. I'm assuming maybe somewhere in the region of 10, or just under or over, I'm not sure. I'm sure someone in the comments could probably actually inform me of an answer actually to that question. But in terms of obviously how I'm running it, so episodes of this, it seems, are being released every sort of Saturday. So as I've done with this first episode, what I may do is now wait at least a couple of weeks before I record any more, just so I can combine them into one video. Unless you desperately want me to see, well, you desperately want me or to see me do individual reactions to each one as they come out. So again, let me know in the comments. Are you fine with me just doing it how I've done it for this one, which is just waiting for a bunch of them to come out and then just doing one big reaction video to all of them? Or do you want to actually see me do individual reactions, individual videos, let's watches of each episode as it's released, depending of course on my workload IRL. Because obviously, like I said earlier, part of the reason why I haven't just done this already is because of the fact that work has been quite busy. I've just been very busy with stuff outside of YouTube and all that. So yeah, let me know in the comments. Just tell me what your thoughts are, and I'll try and do that. So yeah, I mean, I also invited obviously thoughts earlier about RWBY fan content as well, so keep that coming down below. And other than that, I think we will wrap this video up here. So thanks for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not aware, which actually you shouldn't be because I mentioned it already, but you know, my main channel is General Red Strategist, where I do a lot of gaming content. It's very eclectic over there. I do a whole mix of stuff. I'm sure there's something on there that might interest you. But other than that, you know, stick around on the Propagandist channel. Hopefully I'll get some more content out fairly soon. And other than that, I'll see you next time, folks. Goodbye, everybody.